If you've been trading for more than 6 months and you're still losing money, stop. This is for you. Not another indicator, not another guru, not another strategy you'll abandon in 2 weeks. What I'm about to show you is the exact read I use to find trades every single morning, live in front of my students, with funded capital or my personal capital on the line. It's 3 steps. Context, location, confirmation, CLC. No guessing, no hoping, no drawing lines and praying the market respects them. Just data, structure, and execution. Give me the next 15 minutes and I'll walk you through the entire thing. Over the last few years, I've made over $300,000 trading the markets using the exact concepts I'm about to show you. Not from selling signals, not from guessing, from reading order flow, understanding market structure, and executing a repeatable process every single day. A huge part of my growth came from learning from some of the best order flow traders in the space, including Fabio Valentini, Andre Simi, and other high-level traders who completely changed the way I understood market behavior, liquidity, and execution. That's when things started to click for me. I started trading with the mindset that this is a professional skill built around the auction market theory, participation from buyers and sellers, and I truly began to understand how orders move the market. Since then, I've traded through volatile markets, trend days, choppy sessions, news events, and everything in between. And through all of it, the one thing that stayed consistent was the framework. I've turned the system into my very own and even fine-tuned my system using AI, which I teach to all my students on every single live stream. I've built one of the fastest growing order flow trading communities online, where traders from all over the world come together every morning to study the market live, review trade executions, and develop real consistency. And I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying it because trading is one of the few industries in the world where people will take advice from someone who has never actually done what they teach. There are people teaching trading who don't even trade live. People selling indicators they don't personally use, and people posting screenshots after the move already happened. Not really that impressive. That's not what we're here to do though. Everything you're about to see comes from real experience, real execution, and real trades placed in live market conditions. This isn't just theory to me. This is my daily process. Here's the truth no one's gonna tell you. The reason you're losing isn't that you haven't found the right indicator. It's because you're asking the wrong question. You're asking, what should I buy? The pro traders are asking, where's the money actually flowing right now and why? And those two are completely different games. Indicators are lagging. By the time the RSI tells you something is overbought, the move is over. By the time your moving averages crosses, you're already late. You're trading the past. The market trades the future, as we know. And the worst part is that every single time you lose, you go searching for the next thing. Another indicator, another setup, right? Another YouTube video. Indicator soup. I've been there. I wasted years there. The shift happens when you stop looking at what the chart looks like and start reading what the market is actually doing. You want to know the biggest mistake retail traders make, even to this day? They think charts move because indicators are telling them to. That's not how the market works. Markets move because orders interact. That's it. Every single candle you've ever seen on a chart is the result of buyers and sellers competing at a specific price. But here's the part most traders never learn. Not all participants are equal. Some traders are reacting to price, others are creating price. That's the big difference. That distinction changes everything. When most retail traders look at a chart, they see candlestick patterns, support and resistance, and indicators. But professional traders are looking at something completely different. They're asking themselves, who's trapped in terms of participants? Who's aggressive? Who's absorbing? Where's the liquidity sitting? Who actually has the control right now? That's order flow. Think about the market like an auction. Price moves higher until sellers are willing to step in. Price moves lower until buyers are willing to step in. The market's constantly searching for fair value, and the footprint charts lets you see that battle happening in real time. Not after the move, not during the move, and that's the key difference. Most traders only see price, but order flow lets you see the participation beyond the candles. And this participation, that's truly what matters. Because price can move on low conviction, but sustainable moves require real aggressive participants. That's why sometimes you see a breakout candle and then the market instantly reverses. Retail traders think the breakout just failed, but order flow traders see aggressive buyers getting absorbed by passive sellers. Completely different interpretations of the market and the charts. Although it is still the same chart, but different information and a different read on the market. Let me show you something most traders never even think about. Every market transaction requires a buyer and seller. It is literally impossible for there to be more buyers than sellers or more sellers than buyers, because for every transaction to go through, there has to be a buyer for every seller and a seller for every buyer. So when price is moving aggressively higher, you have to ask yourself, who's lifting the offer? Who's lifting the price? Who's willing to buy aggressively at worse and worse prices? And more importantly, Who's sitting there absorbing all of the liquidity? Because if aggressive buyers keep attacking a level but price stops moving, that tells you something massive is sitting there. That's not random retail traders. That's size, positioning, intention, and most likely institutional traders. And once you learn how to read that interaction, the market stops feeling random. You stop chasing candlesticks. You stop taking emotional entries. You stop relying on lagging indicators to tell you what already happened. You start reading pressure, liquidity, imbalance, acceptance, and exhaustion. Now you're reading the auction itself. And that's what changed everything for me. And this is exactly why the CLC framework works. Because context tells us what environment we're in, the location tells us where business is likely to happen at these business zones, and the confirmation tells us where participants are actually committing. That's the difference between guessing and reading the market on a professional level. Now let me break down the CLC order flow system. Step one is context. Before I even think about a trade, I need to know where we are. Are we in a balance, which should mean that the market is rotating, accepting price? Or are we in an imbalance, which is when one side is overwhelming the other and price is seeking new value? That's the auction market theory. It's how every market works. Stocks, futures, options, doesn't matter. Two-sided auctions every second of the day. And if I don't know which one I'm in, I don't have a trade. I simply have a guess. Context tells me what kind of day it is before I even take a single trade. Step two is location. Now I need to know where the action is going to happen. The market is an auction, and in an auction, there are specific areas where the most amount of volume being transacted. Prior day highs, prior day lows, VWAP, gamma levels. These aren't lines I'm drawing because they look pretty. These are levels institutional money is watching. I know it because I can literally see the orders sitting there on a heat map. Combine that with context and you know exactly where to look for entries. You're not guessing. You're operating where the market has already shown you where there's real interest. And the final step is confirmation. So you have your context and you have your location. Now you need to confirm the trade is actually there. I do that by reading the tape, the footprint chart as you see here. You're looking at who's actually in the market. Are aggressive buyers hitting the offer? Are passive sellers absorbing all the buying pressure? Is there a delta imbalance telling you that there's one side overwhelming the other? There are two participants in the market. Passive participants with limit orders. These are the big players absorbing a lot of liquidity. And also aggressive participants that are market orders, the ones pushing price. Think about it like this. Imagine this being a wall. Imagine someone throwing punches at a wall. The aggressive side is throwing the punches in this instance, but if the wall doesn't move, that tells you that the massive participant on the other side is actually absorbing everything. Just in this example, as we see aggressive participants, in this instance, buyers attempting to lift the auction higher, but they're unsuccessful to push the auction higher. And when the aggressive side runs out of steam, that's when the market reverses, and it reverses hard. All three steps must be present. One without the other is not a valid setup. Context, location, confirmation, CLC, that's the system. Here's an example of a trade I took using this exact system. I'm gonna break down this QQQ trade I took today, where I made a little bit over a 3-hour trade. Let's get into it. So on this QQQ trade, I took QQQ longs, right? So I took QQQ calls, and this is why. Let's zoom in here on this 5-minute chart. So as you can tell, I'm using order flow and options flow here. As you guys can see here on the right-hand side, I'm using these gamma levels also with these GEX levels. So this is what I saw the whole day, right? Let's break it down. Let's go back in time. Right before the trade even occurred. Right? Easy to call it out once it already happened. I'll give you my exact rationale. So on this setup here, as you guys can see, we're under, right? We're under the previous day value area low, right? So that means one of two things, right? That means we're either going to see more downside since we can't even break above the previous value area low, right? Or, right? That doesn't just mean if we're under the value area low, we're going to go down, right? We can go up, but we need a substantial amount of volume, right? We need an aggressive move to actually justify, right? And actually have the strength to push above this GEX 3 level, right? So with that in mind, right? Now let's take a look at the setup. Okay. So we see off rip, right? Market in the pre-market, right? Sorry, QQQ in the pre-market, which is shaded by this yellow in the back. All right, we're just going under VWAP, nothing too crazy. We're holding this green area that I have marked out here, which is a previous inefficiency, right? It's a previous gap that I had drawn out here. For those of you guys that are live, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I drew it right in front of you guys. So we keep holding this area, right? So to me, right, one of two things. We're under this one-day min, right, which is Mentor Q's proprietary model that they use with Gamma, right, to calculate basically where the minimum point and the maximum point of the day will be using option mathematic. They're very smart over there at MentorQ, and I appreciate them a lot to use their gamma levels. So in this green box, we keep holding, and as you guys can see, this is value area low, right? So what do we know? That means, let's see, can I draw here? I can. Awesome. That means everything here on the inside is what buyers and sellers are deeming as fair value. So with that being said, I saw the following. I saw a first attempt and a big failure, right? Failed auction above, respected under, and it almost looked like we were going to keep pushing under. But here, right, this is the big test, and this is where I started paying more attention, to be honest, right? As we hold, where'd my drawing tool go? As we hold this value area high from above, lets us know that buyers and sellers are accepting fair value above the value area high, meaning that price is now in price discovery. So once I saw that we broke above this put support, and this is an end of day gamma level, right? So this is a put support where there's an immense amount of GEX, which is gamma exposure, concentrated right at this green level, at this put support area. Once we broke above it, that's where I entered my trade, and I kept a tight stop under it. I wanted to give it some breathing room, and I did want to target this GEX 3 level, especially because these GEX levels between 1 to 5 most times tend to act like a magnet. Okay, the very next candle, as we see the POC shifts higher, and we absolutely rip through GEX 3. This was a pretty quick trade, and again, it was a 3-hour trade. I could have held it and trailed a little bit longer into this put support 0DTE and HVL 0DTEs for a 6-hour trade, but as you guys see, we didn't have any explosive moves in the early morning, so I wanted to be safe and just take my profits here at this GEX 3 level. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sounds good on paper. Does it actually work though? Let me show you. This is a payout from a funded account. This is another one and another. These aren't cherry picked. These are real accounts with real money. This is our Discord, our trading community, with live calls every morning, students posting their fills, their P&Ls, and their reads in real time, not after the fact. The people who follow this system get results because the system is built on what the market actually does, not on what some indicator wishes it would do. That's the difference. Here's what you actually get inside. Live morning trading sessions every market day, calling trades in real time. You watch me read the market, take the trade, manage it, and exit. You don't just learn the theory. You watch it play out live with money on the line. The full order flow and option flow curriculum, CLC broken down piece by piece with auction market theory, key gamma levels, footprint readings, delta, absorption, exhaustion, and everything else included. Every concept with examples, quizzes, and replays built so you can reference it forever. The private Discord community of traders who actually trade. You post your market insights and you'll get real feedback. You watch other students working the CLC system as well. You also get access to direct mentorship and trade reviews. You send me your trades and I dissect them piece by piece, honestly. But you analyze right what you might have missed in your analysis and what potentially could have gotten you in trouble in the trade. That right there is how to cut the learning curve. Plus, you also get a video library and playbook of every setup we take. So when you see it live, you've already seen it 100 times before. Real quick, so you know this isn't some random guy on the internet selling a course. My name is Chavo. I'm an options and futures trader. I've been in the order flow, options flow, and quantitative world for years now. I don't just teach this, I trade it. Every single morning live in front of all my students. I built one of the most respected order flow and option flow education communities in the space. Everything I'm about to show you comes from firsthand experience. This is my daily process. These are my actual tools. This is the system I wish someone had handed me 5 years ago instead of letting me waste years on indicator garbage. Let me tell you why everything else you tried hasn't worked. Signal groups, you're renting someone else's brain. The second they're gone, you're done. You learn nothing. Indicator courses, you're stacking lagging tools and hoping the combination magically works. It won't. Lag plus lag is still lag, either way you put it. Smart money concepts with no order flow, you're drawing pretty boxes on a chart with zero proof anyone is actually transacting there. You're guessing just with extra steps. And the people that claim that this is a get rich quick, they're making money selling you a dream. They don't make money trading. None of that builds a skill. None of that survives in the real market. CLC works because it's not a trick. It's how the market actually moves. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me be straight up about who this is for and who it's not. If you're looking for signals, this isn't it. I'm not going to tell you what to buy and when to sell. That's not how you build the skill. That's how you build a dependency. If you're looking for a get rich quick shortcut, this is not the place. Trading is a skill. It takes time, repetition, discipline. Anyone who tells you otherwise is absolutely lying to you. If you're a complete beginner who doesn't know what a candlestick is, this isn't the right starting point. This is built for traders who have the basics down and are ready to go deeper, way deeper. But if you're the kind of person who's been in this game long enough to know that what you've been doing isn't working and you're ready to commit to learn a real professional grade system from someone who trades it every single day, this was built for you. I'd rather have 10 committed students than 100 people who are halfway interested. The people who commit change the entire trajectory of their trading. I've seen it happen over and over. When Pop Smoke joined, he was a good trader, but he couldn't get consistent payouts. After going through the mentorship and trading live with us for 4 months, he took a 10K payout and now he trades full time. That's what's possible when you have the right system, the right mentor, and you're willing to do the work. So here's what's next. If what I just showed you makes sense, if the CLC framework clicked for you, if you felt that moment where something shifted and you went, okay, this is different, the next step is simple. Below this video, there's a link to book a call with me or my team. We're going to talk about where you are right now in your trading, what's holding you back, and whether or not the mentorship is actually the right fit for you. Because if it's not, we'll tell you, we have zero interest in bringing someone in who isn't ready. But if this is the right fit, we'll walk you through exactly how to get started, what to expect in the first week, and how the next 6 months of your trading career are going to look completely different from everything else that came before. We trade what we see, not what we think. That's the standard. And if you're ready to hold yourself to that standard, I'll see you on the inside. Book your call below.